Welcome back, alchemists. And if this is your first time, please come join us. This is the place and space where we alchemize our energies into what we want to be, the change that we want to be, into the career we want to have, into the breaking generational curses, creating generational wealth, whatever your heart desire you can have. And what we do here is the negative energies that is surrounding us or that has held us, such as fear. We don't want to be led by fear. We don't want to be led by any negative energy, because when we're led by that, we are not working in our higher self. We're not working in our higher power. We're not working in our higher gifts or blessings. So here is where we release that negative energy, and releasing that negative energy is transmuting that energy towards the road, towards the bridge where we want to go, the change we want to be, and the person that we want to be, and the life that we want to live. So let's begin the reading today, because we're trying to figure out what's the next step we need to do. That what is the step we need to do in moving forward, moving to our higher self, moving to our dreams, moving to where we want to be in life. What is the next direction? What is the next step as the collectives? I'm going to shuffle the cards for a few, and then we're going to begin our reading so that we will know what is the next step, what is the next direction that we need to go. And Spirit will be guiding us in that journey so that we are equipped and ready and know what we need to do. Okay, the first up is, what area do we as the collective need to focus on? What area do the collectives need to focus on currently right now in order to know their dreams? Okay, your first card came out. Recognize divine timing. Recognize divine timing. That's what we the collectives need to focus. What are the collective denying? What are we denying? What is it that we are denying that is not allowing us to get to our dreams? What is it that we are denying that is not allowing us to move forward into the change that we want to be, that is not allowing us to alchemize those negative energy into positive energy? What are we denying ourselves? The second card is awaken your vulnerability. Awaken your vulnerability. So that's your second card of what the collective is denying. Your next is, what would help the collective move forward if it was something we understood and embraced? What would help us move forward if it's something we understood and embraced? What would help us move forward? Let's see. It says create boundaries. Create boundaries. Okay. What's that? Let me make sure this wasn't another card, because I felt something flip. Nope, there's not another card. Okay, good. Okay, what would be the next step, Spirit, for us as collectives to take? What would be the next step to take? What would be the next step for the collectives to take in moving forward into their dreams, into alchemizing their energy into the dreams that they want? Ooh. Card is rebirth. That's your next card. That's the next step you need to take. And the next is, what could be a challenge in taking the next step? What would be a challenge for the collectives as they're taking the next step? What would be a challenge for the collectives as they're taking the next step? What is the challenge they need to know about? What is the challenge they need to know about? You need to recognize as they're taking these next steps and alchemizing and moving forward. What is the challenge that they need to be aware of as the collective? Spirit, show us what is the challenge that we need to be aware of as we're moving forward to our higher selves, if we're moving into our dream home, moving into our dream career, creating our business, our entrepreneurship business. What is the challenge we need to be aware of? Excuse me. Let's see, a couple came. It says take positive action. Take positive action and become more objective. There were two cards that came out in this one. Become more objective. Okay, and the last question is, what could be the blessing of taking this step? What could be the blessing when we take this step? What could be the blessing for the collectives when they take this step? What could be the blessing for the collectives when they take this step? Let me see, a card fell. Okay, it was. So the card that came out was access clear thinking. That would be the blessing. Let me see if there's any other card. Is there anything else? What would be a blessing in taking the next step? What would be a blessing in taking the next step? Ooh, sorry. And breaking addiction. You could break addiction. That would be the blessing in taking the next step. The top card is listen to your guardian angel. Listen to your guardian angel. That's your top card for this. So let's begin to explain these cards. Okay, we asked what area we need to focus most on, and it was recognize divine timing. That is what we need to focus on. To fully receive what you are asking for, you need to deepen your efforts on your inner preparation. Be aware that all will arrive at the exact time when you are truly ready. If you are asking for a loving relationship or a friendship, become aware of what kind of person you would love to connect with. What qualities do they need to have? Start to work on those qualities yourself. Be open and receptive to this meeting. If you would like to develop your intuitive abilities further, then be willing to take time to do the appropriate exercises to finesse your energy in order to create new powers of perception. If you want to start a family, work on a greater intimacy, love, communication, and healthy inner environment. If you're working on a business or potential financial rewarding opportunity, knowing what is coming, take strong daily actions to prepare. So basically, in this right here, it says recognizing divine timing. It's telling you that you need to prepare. You need to prepare. And whatever you are asking for, prepare for it. If you want a healthier family, if you want a healthier family, take the appropriate actions by getting healthier communication skills. Go to see a therapist. Everyone know I'm big about therapy, so that you can learn how to gain better skills, better access, better thoughts of how to communicate with your family, or how to break those bad habits, those generational curses, those things that you've seen that you don't want your children to experience. If you want to start a new business, if you want to get a new career, there are so many steps that we can take. There's such as our classes, such as reading a book, picking up a book and reading and learning new skills. We have to prepare ourselves, because remember when we said with manifestation, we can write in our journal and we can say we want this, I am that, but at the end of the day, we must do the work, we must do the preparation, because it's not just going to be a snap of the finger and everything happens because we said I wish. It is all about work and the effort that you put into this. So that's what we're going to actually talk about. So it's basically talking about preparation and the action taking. So whatever you desire, you can have, but you have to be honest about where you're going and how you're getting there through the preparation of the work and your efforts. It is truly the efforts that you're going to be putting in that is important into where you're going to be going. It's not going to be just a wish, a skip, jump, and it happens. It has to be the work. Then the next card was what am I denying? And it says, awaken your vulnerability. So what is going on with your vulnerability? Are you too afraid about it? You don't show it. The things allow others to meet your unprotected heart. To be vulnerable with their feelings requires profound courage and decisions to break the hard shell of protection that keeps you separated, isolated, and afraid of others. Vulnerability connects you to the most hidden aspect of your soul. In this exploration, you have the possibility of discovering your most intimate, delicate, creative, surprising aspect. This may require you to develop more understanding and compassion for yourself and your life's journey, whilst at the same time moving past the pain of rejection or abuse you may have experienced, in which caused you to shut down. What's important to keep certain people at distance. There are others who are already in or about to come into your life. Those people can hold the space for you to step into a soft, honest, gentle exploration of your heart melody. If you refuse and keep suppressing your feelings, you will become exhausted, numb, frustrated, and cold. It's time to warm your heart and time to be more in touch with what is happening inside your body. What pain are you holding in? Your lungs, your heart, those kidneys in particular. And the reason it says that because every part of your body, you have to realize when you hold on to pain, when you hold on to trauma, when you hold on to stress, when you hold on to anything, that can generate and create a dis-ease in your body. So when this card is coming and saying awaken your vulnerability, we're talking about transmuting that energy, allowing that energy to be released by either communicating in your journal, speaking to someone, a therapist, a counselor, to say, hey, this is what's going on. Express the true you of who you are, because you have to be honest in order for you to prepare and be who you are. Let's talk seriously. I'm always saying, especially when it comes to us being alchemists, we're taking that negative energy and we're transmuting that energy into our dream. When we're transmitting that energy to the dream job we want, into the family we want, into the wealth, generational wealth, whatever you are transforming in, the first thing you have to do is be honest about who, what hurt. Be honest about that, because when you do that, that's when when you do that and you face your truth, that's when you're able to no longer have to hide in fear. Because the one thing I realize is that when you hide in fear, that means you're whispering that you're afraid. You're whispering. And when you're whispering, that means you don't want anyone to hear, you don't want anyone to know, because it may break in your whispering. Because if you say it too loud, if you speak it too loud, it may hurt and come again. It will not, I promise you, because you know what the biggest secret is that when you no longer whisper it, when you start telling it, when you start writing about it, it no longer affects you. I'm going to be honest with you. It affects you, but it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, minute. You know why? Because you're working on it. You're working on it to transmute that energy into a more powerful, positive energy that is moving you forward. And it can no longer hurt you. It can no longer hurt you because you're no longer whispering about it. You're no longer fearful about it. You're speaking about it, and you are allowing that pain to be released. That's why there's meditation, because when you breathe, you go into that inhale and that exhale, and you repeat an affirmation or a mantra about releasing that negative energy and becoming a beam light of positivity. You then are releasing that, and you're transmuting that energy. So I really truly do feel this when it says awaken your vulnerability. It's about the truth, and using that truth and punching that truth in its face and saying, hey, I know what I experienced. That shit hurt. I did not deserve that. I shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have done that to me. And you damn right they shouldn't have. However, transmute that energy into a healthy energy, and where you can possess the power, and you take those damn bricks and you make a bridge to where you are going forward and higher in yourself. It is your power. Change it into your power. The next card was, what would help me move forward if it was something I understood and embraced? And that next card was create boundaries. We all know about boundaries, and I want to say something about this. Create boundaries. And sometimes creating boundaries, I know when we say, oh, I'm going to create a boundary, it's like we think about it and it's like, okay, this is my protection. So-and-so can't talk to me this way. So-and-so can't talk to me that way. And I don't allow this and that. Yes, that's cool. However, one thing I learned about boundaries was first about me. I had to create a boundary for me in my mental space, because you have to start talking to yourself with powerful words. Power is in the tongue. Once you start building yourself and building your power in you, then you know what? You will truly begin to see with the respect that you have that others should have for you, because you have built a respect. You have built a respect, you have built a love, you have been honoring, you have been nurturing, nourishing yourself, loving yourself, and healing yourself. And when you built that inside yourself, then that outer complex, you can't allow anyone else to come in and break that. Because now you're starting to honor yourself. And that comes to when you knowing to say yes, knowing to say no, to free yourself from things. And this card says, being genuinely honest with yourself. Are you someone who has healthy boundaries with others, or do you constantly disregard your own needs, well-being, and inner harmony in order to be liked, accepted, or approved by others? How do you find yourself completely drained after trying to help change another person without any consideration as what is healthy for you? And that's where it comes to. This comes down to you, again, awakening to your truth, creating healthy boundaries, honoring yourself with self-care, honoring yourself with self-love, honoring yourself by saying yes to the things you want to, and by saying no to the things that is going to serve you, that you don't want to do. That is creating healthy boundaries, because once you start taking care of you, then you're going to insist upon other people. being taking care of you the proper way. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. That is the best. And if you embrace that, then you will have that time to invest, to get prepared. You will have that time to invest, to be prepared, to read that book, to take that class, to do what you want to do, because you're always putting yourself to the back. You're always saying, well, I can do that later. No. Put yourself to the first. You are priority. You have to pour into yourself before you pour into anybody else. Always remember that. Embrace that, and that will be the best investment that you will ever have done for yourself. Now, the next card, it says, what is the next step I need to take? It said experience rebirth. Now, we have to be honest. The cards that we basically have had, the 3 cards that we've had, it says recognize divine timing, awaken your vulnerability, and create boundaries. When you do all 3 of these, you are creating a rebirth of yourself. You are creating a newer you. You are creating and becoming into new growth. So when you come into this new growth, you have to recognize, like, okay, I'm not the same person that I was. You're embarking on a new time of greater inner transformation. It's a transformation that you're going to. In the next few months, offer an opportunity for you to review your life in detail. You need to delve deep than ever before into your inner world. You're being asked to choose a new path that takes into consideration your sensitivity. The path is slower and requires the true inner growth that your soul is yearning for. Don't be surprised with many old notions that you've created of yourself based on how your family has perceived you. You discharge from your life. If you resist the process will become more painful. If you embrace it and you are willing to entirely be honest, then you can awaken that determination and you can move into the power that you're transmuting. But you have to come and actually go through the rebirth. Come on. And I'm going to say it like this, because sometimes even when I see this card, it says experience rebirth, and it says experience rebirth, you get kind of freaked. You're just like, wait. Okay, let's just break it down. It usually takes for humans 9 months. Well, sometimes it feels 10 months, but I remember one time doctor said, I was like, it's really almost 10 months. But it takes 9 months for you to give birth to a whole human being. So it's going to take time for you to discover and recognize the things that no longer served you. It's not just going to happen crazy overnight, but some things may. But this is a time for you to recognize and realize, like, oh, wow, these things are no longer working for me. This is not who I used to be. Because again, we say once you start preparing and recognizing what you want, because once you say, I want XYZ, this is my goal, you start to prepare, then you start to say, in order for me to get my goal, I got to be honest about what's been holding me back, what fear, what pain has been holding me back, and you awaken that vulnerability, and then you create the boundaries, because when you create the boundaries, that's when you're creating healthier ways of your self-care, your self-love, of how to talk to yourself, your affirmations, your meditations, and going to therapy and everything. You are creating a new way of life, a new way of thinking, a new way of going about things. You are no longer the person that you were. What served you in your past does not serve you now. And it's okay to put people to the back and say, hey, I'm moving forward in a different direction. It's okay to put old habits in the back. I no longer need that. I'm moving in another direction. It's okay to no longer have self-doubt. It's okay. And it's okay because it's a new growth. This is a new growth for you. And being in a new growth, that means a new place, that means you're leveling up, you're elevating. And it's going to take time. So be patient with yourself and care for yourself at this time. But know that when you do all 3 of these things, this is what's going to happen. A rebirth of a new person, of new thoughts, of new actions. You're going to see, and people will be like, you changing. Yes, changing for the better, and keep doing it for you. You are the priority. And the next card was, what could be the challenge in taking this step? And 2 cards came out. And the 2 cards was, well, the first card was, let's see, take positive action. You're taking, those are 3 things. So really do take the actions. Keep those agreements. Don't break those agreements that you have by recognizing the divine timing, going and awakening your vulnerability, and creating boundaries, and taking positive action for that new rebirth that you're going through, that new transformation that you're going through. And then the second was become more objective. I'm interested in that, because we know taking positive actions is about you looking at things in a more positive angle, and allowing yourself to see yourself in a more positive angle and reaching your goals and becoming who you want to become. And with that, it's saying, don't procrastinate and don't delay what is needed to be done for that rebirth, for that goals. Go forward. Take steps forward. Create the momentum that you're building with the new possibilities you have. Consider to show up for yourself. And this reading really has been about you showing up for yourself. Show up for yourself, because when you show up for yourself, things get done. You no longer are procrastinating. You're taking actions that is requiring you to do what you need to do. Pay attention to your emotional, your mental or physical health, and make time to see appropriate practitioner or commit to a powerful detox protocol. You have been putting off doing things. Stop putting things off. Take the action to help someone who is in need, and take the action to help others in need also too. Someone who needs your help and assist. I know this is the time for you, but the most important thing is stop putting the things off and pay urgent attention and engage your will. So to me, this is about motivation and willpower. Because many times we sit and we're like, I want this. Because as we're talking, we're saying, okay, motivate, transmute. And then that negative energy to that positive energy. And you have to transmute that negative energy to that positive energy. You have to, but you have to help yourself first. And that's not by not procrastinating. That's by no longer picking up the things that does not serve you, does not help you move forward into the new life that you want. You have to start taking the positive actions and steps. And that came along with the preparation. Like we said, start reading, taking those classes, start looking at videos or YouTube. You can do whatever you want. There's so many access out here today. You can do it and you can get to where you want. Now, I want to see what's more and become more objective, because that was when I've seen it, but I've never really had it come up. Okay, to become more objective, develop a compassionate attitude towards yourself and others. You are being challenged to step out of your subjective experience of what has been done to you and look at situation objectively. If a person has acted in a hurtful, dishonorable way towards you, you have an opportunity to understand the real cause that has made them behave like this. Often this cause can be found in what they have experienced in their childhood would point towards the lessons they have brought from other lives. This is a chance to develop compassion and see the situation differently. You are also being asked to objectively look at yourself and what role you have had in creating a challenging situation. If you can truly learn a lesson in this experience, you can move on to something different. If not, you will be stuck in a constant pattern of repeating the old. So to be honest with you, these cards really truly do go together, because it says taking the positive actions and become more objective. So to me, these two cards are basically like to remove yourself and unstuck yourself. So the challenge is removing yourself from that stagnant place that you've been in and that place you've been stuck for a while. And the reason you're being stuck is because you're continuing to go back to the story, the old story, the story that you want to tell, the reason why you can't do anything, of who, what, when, where happened. And I'm not saying that story doesn't mean anything. What we're saying is go ahead and face that truth and work on that truth and allow that become your power. And I know many times, because I know and I've heard so many stories of different crazy stories, hurtful stories of like, you ask question like, how could this person have done this to another person? It's hard to answer that. And the only thing you can do is heal yourself. You have to heal yourself. Yes, they made this fucked up decision to bring and do these things in your life, but you don't have to stay there. You don't have to be continuing to run around like a hamster wheel and continue to run over and over. And you don't want to do it to anyone else, because I think that's the most important thing. Remove out the stagnation, remove out the story, because you don't want to repeat history. You don't want to carry this back down to, you don't want another story to be told. Allow your story to be told and be told in a powerful way. Allow this to be a story that will help others, that will help you, and it won't be passed down to your generation no longer, because it stops at you. It stops at you and it no longer will happen again. And not only does it stop at you and your family, but it stops at you because you're helping other people. Because when you tell your story, they're like, that happened to me. I can talk about it. I no longer have to whisper about it. I no longer have to stand in fear about it and move out of stagnation and move and be in this place of fear, be in this place of pain, be in this place of trauma. You have to take the proper actions to move out of the space that you're in. You are not a victor. You're victorious. That's who you are. So move out of that space and move to where you need to be. Move to where you want to be. You're an alchemist. You can change things. You can change your life to where you want it to be. You can become the change. You can nurture, nourish, love, and heal that pain for a better story. Show them your magic. Show who you are. And our last, because this was supposed to be short and I'm going on, I apologize. The last was, what could be the blessing of taking this step? And you got 2 cards again. The first card, let's see. The first card was access clear thinking and break addiction. Now, with these 2 cards right here, to be honest with you, this whole reading is like bridging a gap. It was like a bridge that you have a gap in your life, and it was this bridge coming together to say, hey, this is what we're going to do to recognize that gap and close it so that you can honor yourself in creating your dreams and going to where you are. Because if you take that positive action of becoming more objective to why, and how this happened, and no longer allowing it to be a stagnant energy in you that fills you with fear, that fills you with pain, that fills you with trauma, it's going to access clearer thinking. And then if you see that, you see where she is unraveling, you're unraveling, and now you have that map to get the hell out of that space where you've been. That space where you've been just going round and round and round. Once you start telling your truth, once that fear no longer is a secret, once you start saying, this is what I'm fearful of, but I'm no longer fearful of this because I'm turning into this and I'm using it as this, you gain clearer access to clear thinking. Because now it no longer bogs you. Now you can move forward and do what you need to do and how you want to do things in a better way. And guess what? That breaks the addiction. The addiction of what? Whatever the addiction is, even if it was fear, pain, trauma, drinking, shopping, whatever you did to soothe that addiction, it no longer will be soothed by it. You no longer have to do it because you're not in that fear. You're not in that trauma. You let go of this addiction. All your habits that you were suppressing, uneasy, desired feelings. I mean, and it can alter your mood because you no longer now think about this. Because if you do all of this, the things that controlled you and your thinking and change your mood, your emotions, it will not control you no longer. It will no longer control you. Will not be emotionally manipulated by those things and sabotage yourself. Because to be honest with you, these things sometimes we begin to do self-sabotaging things by having self-doubt, imposter syndrome, even wrecking our chances and opportunities. To get to the next step, we got to get out of our own way, because that seems like this is what this reading is saying. You have to get out of your own way. You have to be honest about why it hurt. You have to be honest in that fear. You have to be honest in that pain. You have to be honest in that trauma. You have to be honest about how and why that fear, that trauma created bad habits, and it created you to be in a stagnant place. It's time for you to move out that stagnant place by saying, let me manipulate this negative energy, this pain, this trauma into a positive energy where I can control and be guided. Go into your higher selves. Go into your most divine, whomever you serve as your God. Seek and co-create where you want to go and how you want to go in your path for your purpose. How you want to go in the path to bring generational wealth. How you want to go on that path to have a beautiful home, a beautiful family. Whatever you want, you can desire. but you're going to have to remove those negative baggages and issues, because you don't want that to go with you. Because if you carry the negative issues, the fear, the trauma, you're not going to have longevity in your career. You're not going to have longevity in your wealth. You're not going to have longevity in any goals that you have. So this is about you moving out your way. Move out your way and transmute that fear, transmute that pain, transmute that drama, whatever it is, family affairs, whatever. Move it. Broken hearts, relationships that every time you get into a relationship it never works out. Take a moment, take time to heal, to love yourself. Cleanse that soul, that mind, that body, so that when you go back out and say, I want to start a new love, you are projecting something different and attracting something different. We attract who we are. And this basically is saying, start to attract better. In order to attract better, you have to be better. You got to clean up and you got to do the action. You have to do the moves that is necessary. Again, like we said, this is not about writing things down and watching it just happen. This is about the work. Do the work. Move. It is time for us to move out of our way. It is time for us to move out of our way and move forward to our higher self. Move forward to the career we want. Move forward to the gifts that we have. And we're holding it and not even allowing it to be a blessing to others. You have gifts that God is like, please share this. I want you to share this. If you share this, you will see how your life changed, but you're steady, stagnant, and standing in fear. He never created you in fear. Move out of that fear. Move out of that trauma. Yes, there were things that happened, but it does not define you. It does not define you. Move forward. I know you can. You can because you're here and you're listening to this reading and you want to. If you are listening to this reading, you want to move. This is no longer a place that serves you. And I'm here to say you're an alchemist. You're a magician. You can move. You can change. You can create the life you want. The next card, and this is the last card because I've been here a long time. This is the last card. This is your wisdom card. This is that card that's kind of gonna wrap up the reading for us, to kind of help us and direct us where our soul is telling us to go. What is the next direction and the next step for us to move forward? What is the next step to move for us to move forward? Okay, let's see this card. It says, the love, this is the love of your dragon reaches out to you. The realm of your truth is opening up. Oh, wow. I think this connects everything. And even the top deck, it says, awaken all your senses. Slow down and become aware of them. Awaken all your senses. Slow down and become aware of them. And to me, all of this is about, this reading for your next level truly is about, because I thought probably it would have been saying, this reading was like, okay, take this, do that. But it's basically saying we got to start inner first. We have to start in our inner work first before anything can be manifested. Because I mean, think about it. If that inner is not healthy, if it's not good, we're not going to make the right decisions, the choices. We can't even create the right envisioning our goal. Because why? Because our inner is in fear, it's in the pain, it's in trauma. So how can you create anything out of fear and trauma into a good manifestation? You have to cleanse that inner. You have to go and do the inner work first before you can manifest and do all those things, because you have to come from a healthy space in order for you to alchemize a good place that you want to be. We got to be honest about that. So this is really about inner work. So the work that we have to do is actually the inner work of removing that fear, inner work of working on trauma, inner work of inner child. We have to recognize that. I want to read this. It says, the love of your dragon reaches out to you. The realm of your truth is opening up. Your truth is reflected in your eyes of your dragons, and the love of the divine source of all being sparkles within. Your dragon is calling you to become a true loving person. When you are united with your dragon and have a profound understanding of what your dragon is, you create an energy field that will guide you into your own blessed light, into a realm of truth and wisdom. With your dragon's eye, you will see more. With your dragon's heart, you will feel more. And with your dragon's mind, you will understand the spirit of all things. Your dragon love will heal every aspect of your being. You will be perceived the true reason why you are here. Through the fire of love, this being will dissolve all the conditioning of the past that could divert you from the path of your truth. When you are your own pure truth, you will be able to make decisions that are worthy of you and your soul path, free from fear and your lower self. The love of your dragon is guiding you out of the shadows and into the light, onto the path of which you are intended. It is only on this path lined with wisdom and self-awareness that you will find your truth and hear the whisper of your soul. So with this goes back to, like we said, our inner self. And I believe the dragon is the representation of our shadow self. When we face our shadow self, and we've been talking about that, about pain, we've been talking about trauma and hurt and past things that could have created perceptions of ourselves that's not healthy for us, self-doubt, and imposter syndrome, creating different habits, addictions to soothe that hinder us from moving forward to who we want to be and healing the aspects of this pain and trauma. So again, like I said, this reading is about going into your inner self and beginning to